No. No is next to the shortest word in the English language. It is the concentrated declaration of independence of the human soul. It is the central citadel of character, and can remain impregnable forever. It is the only path to reformation. It is the steam gauge of strength, the barometer of temperament, the electric indicator of moral force. It is an automatic safety-first device. It has saved more women than all the knights of chivalry. It has kept millions of young men from going over the Niagara Falls of drunkenness, profligality, and passion. It is the updrawn portcullis and barred gate of the castle of self-respect. It is the dragon that guards beauty's tower. It is the high fence that preserves the innocence of the innocent. It is the thick wall of the home, keeping the father from folly, the mother from indiscretion, the boys from ruin, and the girls from shame. It is the one word you can always say when you can't think of anything else. It is the one answer that needs no explanation. The mule is the surest-footed and most dependable of all domestic animals. No is the mule power of the soul. Say it and mean it. Say it and look your man in the eye. Say it and don't hesitate. A good round no is the most effective of known shells from the human howitzer. In the great parliament of life, the no's have it. The value of any yes you utter is measured by the number of no's banked behind it. Live your own life. Make your own resolutions. Mark out your own program. Aim at your own work. Determine your own conduct. And plant all around those an impregnable hedge of no's, with the jaggedest, sharpest thorns that grow. The no man progresses under his own steam. He is not led about and pushed around by officious tugboats. The woman who can say no carries the very best insurance against the fires, tornadoes, earthquakes, and accidents that threaten womankind. Be soft and gentle as you please outwardly, but let the center of your soul be a no, as hard as steel. Time. Old Father Time knows more than anybody. He solves more problems than all the brains in the world. More hard knots are unloosed, more tangled questions are answered, more deadlocks are unfastened by time than by any other agency. In the theological disputes that once raged in Christendom, neither side routed the other. Time routed them both by showing that the whole subject did not matter. After the contemporaries had had their say, time crowned Homer, Dante, Wagner, Shakespeare, Whitman, Emerson. Almost any judgment can be appealed, but from the decision of time there is no appeal. Do not force issues with your children. Learn to wait. Be patient. Time will bring things to pass that no immediate power can accomplish. Do not create a crisis with your husband, your wife. Wait. See what time will do. Time has 1,000 resources, abounds in unexpected expedients. Time brings a change in point of view, in temper, in state of mind which no contention can. When you teach, make allowance for time. What the child cannot possibly understand now, he can grasp easily a year from now. When you have a difficult business affair to settle, give it time, put it away, and see how it will ferment. Sleep on it. Give it as many days as you can. It will often settle itself. If you would produce a story, a play, a book, or an essay, write it out, then lay it aside and let it simmer. Forget it a while, then take it out and write it over. Time is the best critic, the shrewdest advisor, the frankest friend. If you are positive you want to marry a certain person, let time have his word. Nowhere is time's advice more needed. Today we may be sure, but listen to a few tomorrows. You are born and you will die whenever fate decides. you have nothing to do with those fatal two things. But in marriage, the third fatality, you have time. Take it. Do not decide your beliefs and convictions suddenly. Hang up the reasons to cure. You come to permanent ideas not only by reasoning, but quite as much by growth. Do not hobble your whole life by the immature certainties of youth. Give yourself room to change, for you must change if you are to develop. Learn to labor and to wait. Salesmanship. Every young man should sometime in his life have experience in salesmanship. Selling goods is the best known cure for those elements in a man that tend to make him a failure. The art of success consists in making people change their minds. It is this power that makes the efficient lawyer, grocer, politician, or preacher. There are two classes of men. One seeks employment in a position where he merely obeys the rules and carries out the desires of his employer. There is little or no opportunity for advancement in this work. You get to a certain point and there you stick. Such posts are clerkship in a bank, a government job such as letter carrier, a place in the police force, or any other routine employment requiring no initiative. These kinds of work are entirely honourable and necessary. The difficulty is they are cramping, limiting. Someday you may have to take a position of this sort, but first try your hand at selling things. Be a book agent, peddle washing machines, sell life insurance, automobiles, agricultural implements, or peanuts. You shrink from it because it is hard, it goes against the grain, as you are not a pushing sort of fellow. And that is the very reason you need it. Salesmanship is strong medicine. You have to go out and wrestle with a cold and hostile world. You are confronted with indifference, often contempt. You are considered a nuisance. That is the time for you to buck up, take off your coat, and go in and win. A young lawyer will gain more useful knowledge of men and affairs by selling real estate or fire insurance than by law school. I have just read a letter from an office man 57 years old. He has lodged at $1,600 a year for 20 years, while two of the salesmen who entered the business about the time he did own the concern. Get out and sell goods. Hustle. Fight. Don't get fastened in one hole. Take chances. Come up smiling. So the best and biggest prizes in America are open to you. Selling things, commercialism, business is not a low affair. It is a great, big, bully game. It is a thoroughly American game, and the most sterling qualities of Americanism are developed by it, when it is carried on fairly and humanely. There is incitement in it for all your best self, for your honesty, perseverance, optimism, courage, loyalty, and religion. Nowhere does a man mean so much. I mean to cast no slurs upon faithful occupants of posts of routine. They have their reward. But, son, don't look for a safe place. Don't depend upon an organization to hold your job for you. Don't scheme and wire pull for influence and help and privilege. Get out and peddle maps. Make people buy your chickens or your essays. Get in the game. It beats football. The Inward Song. The poet speaks of those who carry music in their heart through dusty lane and wrangling mart, plying their daily task with busier feet, because their secret souls a holier strain repeat. It would be interesting to have the statistics of what number, out of all the human stream that pours into the city every morning coming to their work, are singing inwardly. How many are thinking tunefully? How many are moving rhythmically? And how many are going, as dead drays and carts, rumbling lifelessly to their tasks? It is good that the greater part of the world is in love, for love is the song of songs. To the young lover nature is transformed. Some ethereal has touched the deadly commonplace. All is miraculous. The moon, the dead companion to our earth, the pale and washed-out pilgrim of the sky, has been changed into a silver-fronted fairy whose beams thrill him with a heady enchantment. Every breeze has its secret. The woods, the houses, all men and women are notes of that sweet harmony that fills him. Orpheus with his lute made trees, and the mountain tops that freeze bow their heads when he did sing. Every man is an Orpheus, so he but carry about in him an inward melody. There is for him a new heaven and a new earth. This world is an insolvable puzzle to human reason. It is full of the most absurd antinomies, the most distressing cruelties, the most amazing contradictions. No wonder men's minds take refuge in stubborn stoicism, in agnosticism, in blank unfaith. There is no intellectual faith, no rational creed, no logical belief. Faith comes only through music. It is when the heart sings that the mind is cleared. Then the pieces of the infinite chaos of things drop into order. Confusion ceases. They march, dance, coming into radiant concord. Marcus Aurelius, that curious anomaly of the Roman world, perfect dreamer in an age of iron, was rich in inner music. The thought in him beamed like a ray of creative harmony over the disordered crowd of men and events. "Welcome all that comes," he wrote, untoward though it may seem, for it leads you to the goal, the health of the world order. Nothing will happen to me that is not in accord with nature. None but so noble a mind can see a noble universe, a noble humanity, a noble God. What a drop from such a level to the place of the mad sensualists and pleasure-mongers who only know, to seize on life's dull joys from a strange fear, lest losing them all's lost and none remains. What a whirl of cabaret music, what motion and forced laughter, what wild discord of hot viands, drugged drinks, and myriad-tricked lubricity it takes to galvanize us when our souls are dry and cracked and tuneless. Have you ever had the feelings of Hazlitt? "Give me," he said, "the clear blue sky over my head, and the green turf beneath my feet, a winding road before me, and a 3 hours' march to dinner, and then to thinking. I laugh, I run, I leap, I sing for joy." Whoever does something that makes the souls of men and women sing within them, does more to make this earth habitable and this life tolerable than all the army of them that widen our comforts and increase our luxuries. Idleness, the mother of progress. Idleness is the mother of progress. So long as men were busy, they had no time to think of bettering their condition. Idleness is the mother of art. It was when men had leisure from the chase that they decorated the handles of their hunting knives and the walls of their cave dwellings. Idleness is the mother of religion. It is in the relax and rebound from toil that men think of God. We talk of all men's right to work. There is a deeper right than that. It is the right to idleness. The value of what we put upon the page of life depends upon the width of the margin. The great, useful, redeeming, and lasting work of the world is that work which is a reaction from idleness. The continent of labour is barren. It is the little island of labour that is green and fruitful in the sea of leisure. The curse of America is its deification of labour. Our little gods are the men who are ceaselessly forth-putting. Most of all, we deify capital, which never rests, but goes on producing day and night. We are so occupied in getting ready to live that we have lost the art of living. With us a man is a fool if he sets about to enjoy himself before he has laid up a fortune. We count the woman happy when she has married money, and the child accursed when he has no inheritance. Every morning we arise from our beds and charge bloodthirstily into the struggle. We all do it, millionaires and paupers. In his office the trust magnate sits at his scheming until his nerves are loosed, his arteries hardened, and his soul caked. The slaves of Rome never worked so hard as many of our labourers in mines and factories. Self-cure. How, writes a lady to me, can I remove the following difficulties from my path? How can I overcome the lazy habit of oversleeping in the morning, laziness in general, in fact? How can I overcome the fear and worry habit? How can I let go of the thoughts of past disappointments, mistakes, etc.? I have tried all manner of ways to divert my mind by work and study. Do you believe in confession in the case of a non-Catholic for the purpose of relieving the mind? How can I overcome prejudice? I find I am prejudiced against certain sects and races. Rather a stiff task to answer all these questions. Of course, I cannot answer them fully. All I or anyone can do is to give a few hints which may be useful. Oversleeping is not necessarily laziness. Go to bed earlier if you have to rise at a certain hour. It's a safe rule to take all the sleep you can get. The rule in my own family is let the sleepy sleep. Laziness is not a bad quality always. A lazy body often houses a most energetic mind. The real cure for physical laziness is fun. Find some form of exercise that lures you. Mental laziness is a more difficult disease, and you can only cure it by taking yourself severely in hand. Usually, I should say, it is hopeless. Fear can generally be mitigated, if not altogether removed, by intelligence. It is a byproduct of ignorance, as a rule. We are afraid of what we don't know. Science, knowledge, has done much to alleviate superstition, ignorance. Worry can only be remedied by adopting some rational theory of life, some common sense philosophy. Maeterlinck and Emerson have done me more good as worry antidotes than any other masters. How to let go of bedeviling thoughts is a hard problem. Thoughts that burn, stew, ferment, and torment. Who has not suffered from them? About all I can do is to let them run their course. I say, this too shall pass, and try to bear up against the pestiferous imaginings and memories until they wear themselves out. It is also a good idea to have some attractive, interesting, fascinating vision of a pleasant nature, to which we can turn our minds when annoying suggestions persist. The author of Alice in Wonderland, who was a great mathematician, used to work out geometrical tasks, which he called pillow problems, and wrote a book of that name, to get himself to sleep. Can't you find some alluring things to think of when wooing slumber? Call for them, and by they will come. Do I believe in confession? Nothing can so purge the soul. Still, it must be exercised with the extremest care, judgment, and discretion, else you may harm others in pacifying yourself. How can I overcome prejudices against such and such sects or races? Just repeat over and over to yourself that all prejudice is stupid and ignorant. By and by you will, by autosuggestion, get it into your subconsciousness that prejudice shall have no place in you. Prejudice means judging before you have the facts. Never judge till after you have the facts. Nothing is so utterly devoid of reason as a passionate hatred of any race or class. All men are much the same when you come to know them. Class or race faults are superficial. The human qualities strike deep.